Hi everyone, Cheryl from Rugged Pine here. I want to show you my newest acquisition. I have been using air mattresses in my camping, and I just found that in the cooler seasons it allowed a little too much cold temperature to come up from the bottom into the sleeping bag just from the ground up. So I was looking around for something a little more insulated, and of course I have a musical bird next door, so I'll try and talk over him. So I wanted something a little more insulated, and what I found was I didn't want a self-inflating air mat because they're just still really bulky. And what I found was a product from a company called Klymit that have insulated air mats. So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to try it out, but first I wanted to tell you the specs about it before we went out into the field. So this is an Insulated Static V 4-season full-size sleeping pad. What it says on it, inflates in 10 to 15 breaths. I have inflated it in the living room, and it did take me about that much, 16, but then again, I just didn't blow it really up and give her all I got. So that is correct. Klymit insulation. In the air baffles, it has a specialized insulation, and it says it has an R value of 4.4. Now that's actually what really struck me on this one, because it had an R value for insulation. So that's why I zoned in on this one. Rugged 75D polyester fabric, so it should be fairly tough. V chambers, limited air movement for added comfort. Also, limited air movement means it'll trap your body heat and keep it more, instead of the more air moves, the more it cools off. So thereby you stay warmer, the less you have air movement. Now this one is 23 inches wide, 58 centimeters or so, and 72 inches long, 138 centimeters long, and it's a 2.2 inch thick mat. Now the important thing about that is I'm a side sleeper, and they say this will actually be enough to keep me off the ground. You know how side sleepers and air mattresses, when you've got those long straight baffles, you end up getting your hips and your bony points, like your shoulders and your elbows, on the ground because the air pushes away from you. But the way this is designed, allegedly, that doesn't. So that's especially what I'm going to be looking for. So the 4.4 R value, and the fact that I'm a side sleeper, to see if 2.5 inches is enough to keep me up off the ground. Now the interesting thing they say about their design is it's got V-shaped baffling, and that V shape not only creates channels along the edge to keep you centered in the middle, but that's also what helps to prevent the airflow, the air movement issue. So for comfort and heat retention. The bag also comes with its own little patch in case you need it. So this one, it's all rolled up, nice and tight, which doesn't affect the welded seams apparently. And here's your little patch kit, flaps inside the little bag. The little bag itself, maybe 18 centimeters long, and this whole thing weighs, where's the weight on this? 25 ounces, some 109 grams. So 25 ounces, full season insulated, able to keep me off the ground. The fabric doesn't sound too crinkly, so cheap sleeping bags or air mats, they get that crinkly noise every time you move. It's like you're on tin foil. No, this feels like a nice sturdy fabric, so it doesn't make any noise from rubbing. And here's the, twist and pull to open, push down and turn to lock closed. So we'll give it a shot. There it is. That was 15 breaths. I can use stand to puff it up once or twice more, but that's it. it's really easy to roll this thing up. So open the air valve. First we'll squish all the air out. Okay, and the way it came folded in the pack is you fold it in half once. And then you fold it in half again. And then you really squish and roll it up. There you go. Nice and small. Easy to go into the bag again. It's a beautiful night, December 12, 2018. Just got home from work and changed my clothes, grabbed some gear. I have a new insulated air mat. I'm going to head out to the lake, find a camping spot, and see how it does. It's only supposed to be probably, things said -18 with the wind chill, but actually -8 is what's predicting. Skies are clear. We have the Geminid meteor shower going on this month. So we're going to go out, find a dark spot, and see if we can see some meteors tonight. I gotta look up the house. I don't know if you can see me, but one more thing before we go I wanted to show you. Don't know if you can see it past the tree, but this is the moon in the city. It is 5 to 6, about 10 to 6 p.m. Let's see. Okay, clear sky, and there's the moon. It's only a little quarter. Let's go out to the lake and see if we can find something. Well, I made it. It's beautiful clear sky, but there is a wind out here. I'm going to put up my tent and then I'll get some supper, get some heat and calories into me. I'm moving around. I had to put my heavy park on. It's black. I don't know how well you're going to see me. But we'll see what we can show you in the dark. Okay, so there it is. There's a line of trees here. This is where Chaston and I camped back in April. And it's the only spot open on the shoulder season for camping is in this area again, which kind of sucks. I was hoping to get into an actual campsite site, but oh well. Nothing you can do about that. The light, that's where the bathrooms are. In that corner, right over there, I don't know if you can see it, is where I will be setting up. The wind is coming almost directly from my right side, across me to the left. And those trees don't have any movement whatsoever in them, so I'm assuming they're protected quite a bit. Okay. I'm starting to move around and warm up, so I'm going to take off my outer jacket again here. But put my gloves on, my fingerless mitts. I want to show you the ventilation on this before I put the fly on it. It's my summer tent, but what I like about this is the fly is big enough that it almost works as a 3 or 4 3-season tent, because it's pretty big. But let's go take a look at this. Okay. So the back window is only a half window. That's good cross ventilation with the front here. But the flaps up top, they can be zipped up from the inside as well. So that gives nice ventilation. We don't want any condensation on the inside of the tent in the wintertime, because then you just freeze. So we have 2, we should have 3. There we go. This one's just permanently open. The other two you can close and control airflow in them. So I'm going to put the fly on now. Okay, let's go in and I'll unpack my bag and show you how I'm going to set up. So I brought with me the minus 20 degrees Celsius sleeping bag, and I'll be putting that on the very outside. I'll show you what is in my gear. I haven't had supper yet. So here's my supper. We'll be going out to the picnic table out there later. Okay, so this is the rest of my sleeping setup. So we have a pillow. It's foam core, foam chips. I'm a side sleeper, so I need some good neck support. I have a reflective bottom, so I'm sitting on ground right now. I pushed all the snow away earlier. You saw me do that. So now I need a barrier to prevent the cold from the ground coming up through the bottom of the tent into my air mattress, into me. So I have, it's actually a bulky safety or emergency blanket is what it is. But because one side is reflective and the other side is super durable, it makes a great floor mat and reflects heat back up into the building. As usual, try everything out at home before you take it into the field. Okay. Yeah, it's 15 or 16 breaths, but I'm sitting down so I can't really get a good one. But still, the only downside to this, I love the baffles, I love the way it feels, I love the way it conforms to your body. The side baffles give it some roll, kind of keeps you in the middle. Unfortunately, it's all breath inflated, so that means the humidity from your breath is getting inside the product. However, nothing we can do about that apparently on this one. Okay, now I'm going to get, actually, this will fit inside my sleeping bag. I did not know if it was tapered enough, but apparently it's tapered enough to get into the foot box. So I'm going to do that. Insulating mat, minus 40 sleeping bag, insulated R value 4.4 mattress, pillow, and fleece. Now we're going to go outside and get some supper ready. It's 8:30 at night. It says it's minus 2 Celsius. I'll just push it a little over there, keep it off the snow so it doesn't get a false reading. Okay, so supper tonight is the American meal ready to eat. Barbecue sauce with chicken, black beans, and potatoes. I am going to go get my seating pad because I can't sit on this bench because it's all full of snow. So my seating pad is just a closed cell foam pad that I ordered dirt cheap, found it, and I just cut myself an R-size square out of it. I got a spork. I broke down. I thought these things were goofy. But I found there's a difference in sporks. Well, this one I splurged. This was titanium. 25 bucks. Really good spoon on the end. Just a nice size combination between a hot chocolate spoon or a stirring spoon and a soup spoon. It's got quite a big, but it's not very deep. So you're not going to end up trying to lick it out against the roof of your mouth. It's actually pretty good. And the other end, nobody uses a knife on a spork. I mean, that's what you got your own knife for. I mean, see, you saw me open the bag with it. That's what my knife's for. It's for eating with, cutting my steaks. This is my other utensil. But these are actually pretty decent fingers, tines, for getting something on them. So it's actually pretty, this design is actually pretty satisfactory. And that's all you need in the field. Oh, it looks really good. Screw it. You don't need the box. We ain't fancy, highfalutin, high society out here. Oh, awesome-y goodness. Yeah. I'm gonna call my husband in about 20 minutes. He's at work. And say goodnight to him. Then once I'm done that, I can finish my supper and crawl into bed myself. Okay, just before I get into my pajamas and into bed, I just want to show you what I did. I prefer to have my head away from the door, so what I did was I turned it around over there. And then I grabbed my other sleeping bag and shoved it inside the other minus 20 sleeping bag. So I have my outer and now an inner that'll act like a bivvy. It's 10 o'clock, probably about 10 after 10. Now, hopefully I can sleep for a good 6 or 8 hours before I have to get up. It's 3 a.m. and my body's telling me it's time to hit the head. So I'll be doing that, and then I'll be packing her up to go home. My rule is if I have to hit the head, then I hit my real bed in the cold. When I get up, I'll take a shot of the thermometer and show you what temperature it is. It's pretty chilly in here. But I did manage to get some good sleep. I do feel rested, so I don't have to rush. When I get out of bed, there's my breath. That's it. That concludes this overnight outing. I'm back. That was an interesting little outing. I enjoyed the walking around at night. I was super warm with my jacket on, moving, all that kind of stuff. Crawled into my tent, got comfortable at about 10, got into my sleeping bag at about 10, settled in at about 10:30, and then hot chocolate got me. I had to get up and go to the bathroom after 2 o'clock. So I wasn't out very far from the city, just a half hour's drive, and packing up my tent only took 20 minutes. So I thought, you know what? Even though it's the middle of the night, I'm just going to throw it all in the car, come back home. By the time you get back into your tent at 3 in the morning, snuggle back in, settle in for another half hour, and then sleep for another 2 or 3, get up, come back to the city. I wasn't very far away, so I came back and just kind of settled into my own bed for the rest of the night. But it was a really good thing because my new air mattress, the Klymit, this one that I bought and I showed you, did really, really well. It performed just like it said it was. I had the reflector mount at the bottom, and then I put on my sleeping bag, and then I doubled up with another sleeping bag and used this in the middle. This kept me off the ground. I'm a side sleeper. I love the way it performed. It actually worked with insulation. It did what it said to do. Money well spent. I will buy a bigger one for using in the future, or when this one craps out, I'll definitely reinvest in another one of these. The reason I actually came home early was by the time you get in and out of your bed and everything like that is one thing I did do wrong, which I have to pay more attention to next time I do it again. With that tent, I showed there were screen vents on the top. Well, when I showed you I had my sleeping bag with my head to my right hand side of the door, my head wasn't under any vents. It was in a corner. It was tucked away from any vents, any wind currents, and all like that. Now, when I was out there, there was a breeze, and the temperature outside was -2. And when I turned my head around to the left side of my door, because I don't like having my head in front of the opening side of the door, I like my feet there. Just get a little more peace and privacy that way. And what I did, unknowingly, I was concentrating on the floor layout. I forgot to look up. And what was directly above me was my open condensation vent, the open zipper in the top of the tent fly. So I was breathing cold air all night, and I did get a chill, and that's why I decided to come home early, in addition to having to get back into the tent, undress, etc., 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 into the sleeping bag. But overall, I achieved what I wanted to achieve, which was to check out my air mat, and it was a good sleep for at least 4.5, 5 hours. Had a good night. So I'll do it again.